Guys, good morning. Cryptopar here. I have the pleasure of having Amir from ICE Rock Mining joining us today. Amir, how are you today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, Crypto Paul.
Thank you. But before we begin, I want first thank Donny Boy 8 for setting up this meeting. So, Amir, please tell us about yourself and the project with ICE Rock Mining.
Yeah. So I think the place to start would be about 2, 3 months ago. Um, my background is financial markets. I was a prop trader, an equity trader, and for the last 10 years, really, I just kind of was involved in the stock market. And I started learning about the blockchain and Bitcoin, and when I when I really understood what the blockchain was, that was the aha moment for me. I started doing a lot of research, and I kind of came up with, I told myself the the most conservative place to enter this market is mining. Like I wanted to get into Bitcoin mining. I mean, it was
Yeah,
cool, it was fascinating, but it was really all about like the consistent income or the passive income.
correct.
So I started doing research and looked into cloud mining and looked into. I even have a small rig of my own, but really what happened was I found Malik online, and the story was just really unique. It was, a former Soviet Union bunker in a cave that was naturally cooled at 12 degrees. Um, it had power costs of 3 cents per kilowatt hour. So I got in touch with Malik and I said, "Look, I really think you have something here. I want to invest. Can I come meet you?"
Yeah,
And he welcomed me. The whole team welcomed me. I went to Kazakhstan. It was 3 really amazing days, um, and I had a super feeling. And then I approached Malik again and I said, I'm investing. I also want to be a part of the team, and we just had a really good synergy. Malik is an amazing operations guy, and I'm kind of the guy that articulates the message. And since then, we've been working hard to put this ICO together, and here we are.
perfect, perfect. Now, as far as since you've been brought up the ICO, tell me about how the structure. I see that you got the private pre-sale now, and then I guess the pre-ICO and so on.
Yeah. So the private pre-sale was for all the people who invested in the first ICO. So we had the first ICO about 6 months ago, and that was our first, and it was basically a reward for all the people that invested the first go, and that was at a 50% bonus. So now we're launching our pre-launch, which is open to everybody, and the bonus doesn't really go down much for the first part of the pre-launch.
Yeah.
It's 45%,
Okay.
and then about every 10 days or so, it goes down 5% until it gets to like 10%, and that's the structure of the bonus.
Okay. Now, with my background, most of the ICO I participated usually lasts between 2 weeks and I guess a month. I see that this
Or much longer.
much longer. So
Yeah,
um,
that was by design. There was a reason for that. I can tell you what the reason was. It was
yep,
really, really straightforward. Um, we decided that we weren't going to put a big uh, ad budget together. We weren't going to spend a lot of money on advertising.
hmm
That what we were going to do was really reach out to our investor base, use a group of advisors that understood the business. There were digital marketers who were involved in blockchain, or blockchain enthusiasts who understood mining, and we were going to provide them with the tools and the infrastructure, because if we spend, if we come up with a budget for advertising, that comes right out of our mining power. If we take
yeah,
that money out of the ICO, that goes right out of the mining power and lowers the returns for everybody. So we're all stakeholders in the ICO. Myself, Malik, everybody is involved in the ICO. So we said, look, we need more time. That's why we extended the ICO for so long, because we know that we're going to need more time to interact with our customers, interact with the investor community, educate them, give them time to learn about us, And that's really what was going to make it a sticky relationship with our investors, and something that we can also leverage for after this ICO, because we're going to continue to come out with more mining products.
Okay. Well, let's go to I guess the question that we able to obtain from our subscriber. I guess the first one is really how do we make money? From holding the coin, and are you guys
Right.
offering like cloud mining contract as we purchase? So
Yeah. So it's not a cloud mining contract, and it's very specifically, there's a reason why we're doing an ICO instead of a cloud mining contract. Cloud mining contract, as you know, it's a 2-year contract,
yeah.
and then that's it. We wanted to create something that was actually similar to an IPO, where people have an ownership stake, so to speak, in the operation.
Hmm.
So what we did is we created the ICO, and the token is not for you to trade or anything like that. You hold it. It's an ERC20 token. So it's on the Ethereum network, and the smart contract is basically there to tell us, who to give how much to. And we reinvest 20% of the profits from our side. So not from the investors 50%, but from the other side. And that goes to new mines, basically. It
Yeah.
goes as a budget, reserve budget, so to speak, for new mines, so that we can continue mining beyond 2 years. So sometimes you'll hear people saying, ICE Rock mining, lifetime mining. We're trying to stress that once you're involved in the ICO, you're involved in perpetuity in this operation.
Got
So
got you.
we're all there to extend the life of the mine as much as possible.
Got you. So does that mean how we earn the income is just based on the actual, I guess, number of tokens we hold?
Yes,
Okay,
exactly.
okay.
So basically, what happens? I mean, here's what happens. We mine BTC, so we mine Bitcoin,
Yep,
right?
yep.
After, let's say, and we pay out every month. So let's say at the end of the month, we're mining. We stop on the 30th, and then we take that BTC and we convert it to Ether, because we're going to put it on the Ethereum network.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not mining Ethereum, but just on the day that we're going to transfer, it goes into Ether. Then the smart contract distributes, and we know how many coins everybody is holding and who's holding what in their wallet. So we just send that proportionate amount of the profits to their wallet.
Okay, so we don't actually have to like lock in the token on you guys, site and anything. So we still have
No.
ownership of the token, right?
Yes, yes. Once you register on our site,
Yep.
we'll ask you to enter a My Ether wallet
Yes.
address.
Yep.
So once you enter your My Ether wallet address, that's your address. You buy your tokens. The tokens will go into the My Ether wallet address immediately, and you can just sit on them, and that's basically where your Ether is going to go.
Okay, perfect. The next question, like this from the subscriber, you talked about the I guess using the old Soviet bunker. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, do you have
Yep.
insurance against any type of natural disaster if it happens? I guess because it is in the mountains. So what I guess
So
safety net do we have in place there?
yeah, so actually, first, it's not in the mountains. It
Mm-hmm.
is the mountains.
Okay.
So that's it's, and the reason why I say that is because it's not a mountainous area. It's
Mm.
actually a grassy. This is where cows, you would find cows grazing, basically.
Okay.
It's kind of an agricultural, quiet area. So there is no kind of insurance that's tailored for this. If
Mm-hmm.
we went out to get insurance, I mean, how do you insure a
Yeah.
mountain, really, and from what?
Yeah.
This is basically a bunker. It's got one entrance, and that's it.
Okay.
And when you're inside there, there's nothing. It's your tunnels, and that's it. So this is more about, we're in the safest place to begin with, and that was one of the attractive things about it to start with.
Oh, okay. Next question, I guess, as far as I guess, the space that's available. I mean, how many miners are you looking
Uh,
to,
So 5,000 is our
o-
capacity in this mine,
okay,
and we own several acres of land around the mountain, basically. So we our kind of expansion is building another hangar that is essentially adjacent to the mountain and can feed off of the power that we have. Although I would say, we're we're not pretending to be bigger than we are, or anything like that. So
Sure.
our focus is to get to 5,000 efficiently, safely, pay our investors, pay ourselves, and make a name for ourselves in the mining space.
Okay. Well, with that in mind, I mean, Genesis Mining is probably the biggest
Yep.
cloud mining company. I mean,
Yep.
give us some comparison. I mean, you mentioned
Sure.
about the constant temperature. That's one way to, I guess,
Yeah.
keep the cost down.
Yeah. Yeah. I look, Genesis does a good job at what they do, and they really hone their skill for the cloud mining. Um, and so, from an operational perspective, I tip my hat to Genesis because they really know what they're doing, and that's amazing. Um, we're an ICO. We restructured it so that our investors are partners in the whole operation. Everything is on the blockchain in terms of the profits sharing and the budget and all of that. So we're truly a blockchain company, basically putting everything out there on the smart contract. Um, Genesis Mining is they're trying to maximize their own income while being competitive in the marketplace.
Yeah.
What we're trying to do is maximize our own income while maximizing our investors' income. So the alignment is more parallel with us than it is with any cloud mining company for that matter, and that's why we think we're going to be better in that way.
Okay, perfect. The next question is actually more related to the, I guess, the equipment itself. You mean, um, let's see what the question was. How are you guys gonna be able to keep the equipment dry? You mentioned it is in the
Great.
mountain and all that stuff. So,
Yeah. So what's really cool, and it's a blessing that they did this. But when they built the mine, they also drilled holes deep in so that they could get ventilation. So they have a system, and the ventilation controlling all of the humidity that will arise from the mines. All of that has already been planned for and addressed.
okay, perfect. Next question. When does the mining start? So, I mean, I saw it was going to end sometime in May, correct?
Yep,
No.
in May, and then the mining will begin a month thereafter.
Okay.
So you're looking at sometime in July for the first payment.
Okay. And I think you kind of addressed on this earlier as far as the payout is concerned. Is it done on a monthly basis and
Monthly,
monthly?
correct.
Okay. And you mentioned that you convert the BTC to Ethereum and then send it to the, I guess, the holders. Okay.
Yep.
Now, if a holder decide to, I guess, sell their token in the middle of the month, I mean, how what happened at that point? Is it prorated to how many
So
days they hold or?
no,
Okay,
it's not. And there's really no secondary market for the coins yet.
understood. Yep.
I think a whole industry is going to develop around providing liquidity for, secondary market liquidity for mining tokens, but capital markets just hasn't developed that quickly yet. So you can technically sell it, but you got to find somebody and sell it to them, because
Exactly.
what you're and that's not such a hard thing to do, because you're actually selling your cash flow now.
Yeah.
So um, it's really not for that purpose. The reason why you're buying the token is to hold the token. This is it's like a bond, basically. It's a dividend yielding type of investment, and you want to hold your token because you want that cash flow. So, depending on where Bitcoin prices are, your returns will fluctuate. But the whole point is that you get your money back at some point, and then now you're just getting cash flow.
Gotcha. Well, with that, on that note, with the past weeks been pretty challenging with cryptocurrency in general. So,
Yep.
How does the company feel, about that? I mean,
Yep.
hopefully we found a bottom and we maybe saw it
Yeah,
on
I
a.
think we have found the bottom, by the way. But that's an easy question. Look, our approach is a completely long term one. We believe in the blockchain. I've had conversations with Malik about this, one on one. We're totally, all of us are on the same page. Diaz, Mija, I mean, we are here. I mean, the blockchain is here.
Yeah,
We're here with it,
yeah.
and and we're here for the long term. This is going to be the block. The blockchain is going to need processing power. It's going to need mining power. Proof of work is here. It's not going anywhere, and so we want to participate in that growth in a measured but significant way. So we don't look at these, even though the volatility is massive, we don't look at it and shy away from it in any way. It's just a question of, okay, well, this month we'll only make X percentage, and then over the next couple months it recovers and then usually goes on to higher highs. That's the price behavior so far, and I expect that to continue.
Okay. Now, with the equipment itself, are you guys going to basically focus only on Bitcoin, or are you going to
Yeah.
do? Okay, okay.
Yeah, for this ICO, we're strictly Bitcoin. Again, that's just based on a decision because we didn't want to um, take bets on like which coin was going to be the coin that appreciates, and that is another strategy, and it's a very valid one. I think Litecoin has got a good future. I think Ether does. I think a lot of other coins are really going to do something, especially coins that are it's problem solving, like Walton Coin, for example, where it's problem solving for the fabric industry. Um, but we just want to focus on the blockchain's growth as a macro play.
Okay. Now, this probably is going back a little bit. You mentioned about the first ICO with the Rock One, um, and now we're in the Rock Two phase. I mean, how are you guys, I guess, going to be able to distinguish the two, the holders? I mean, what's the main difference?
So Rock One was actually basically a totally different type of structure. It wasn't. It wasn't. It was much closer to a cloud mining type of agreement where you purchased your Rock tokens, and then you got your mining power, and then you had an option to redeem your Rock tokens at a higher price.
Mm,
So we started out with $1 as the sale price, and you could have gotten a 50% commission, so your effective cost was 50 cents.
yeah.
And then by the time you reach stage three of the buyback for Rock One, buyback was, I think it was $3,
Okay.
which is going to be in a few more weeks now. So people did make 300-400%, and they're doing that right now. And many of again the private presale was for the Rock One investors specifically to thank them for supporting us in our first ICO. They're gaining the momentum going into this ICO now, and that's what we're seeing.
Okay. Now, on that note, with the you mentioned they were making, in the upper, the 300 to 400 range. So on the calculator, okay, that you guys have on the site, it shows if
Yeah,
you invested $100,
yeah, yeah.
their potential is about 29,000 the first month, and then it keeps going up each month from.
$29 the
Yeah,
first month.
yeah, and
Yeah.
then keeps going up.
So yeah, so we basically we used when we did that calculator a higher Bitcoin price,
Oh, sure,
and
yeah.
we haven't changed it. So I think the price they used was about 14,000.
Okay.
So when you use that price, and of course, look, you can't nobody can guarantee you anything with difficulty and hash rates. So these are estimates. But when you use a Bitcoin price of about 14,000, your current, as of today's snapshot, mining returns
Yeah.
would generate about 20% per month for you.
Okay.
So you compound that, and you get to 400%.
Gotcha. Gotcha. The next question. What kind of protection you guys have in place, I guess, to prevent hacker or DDoS attacks?
Yeah. So security is obviously a big deal,
Yeah,
but it's not one that we really talk about too much for obvious reasons. But we understand what it is. We don't kind of put our eggs in any one basket. We have an internal team of techs and programmers. So it's something that, we're miners. I mean, we understand security needs to be addressed in a pretty major way. So that's how we handle it, basically, with
true.
the knowledge that you got to have that.
Sure, sure. And then the one thing I really intrigued me about you guys is, you're very active on Telegram. When I'm
Yeah,
there, I mean, I go there throughout different time, and there's always somebody there. So definitely appreciate it. I think one of the biggest challenge for me with other ISO is the communication. So I think,
yeah,
I mean, you guys are putting up videos almost every, once
yeah,
or twice a week. So definitely appreciate that. So
yeah, yeah. We did that on purpose. We have admins in the Telegram, and I'll just say right now, like, if people once people start to do their research and their due diligence, I invite them to come to the website. Um, they'll get a little, intercom pop up, and we have different options. But all you have to do is just submit your email, and you'll get sent all kinds of material on us. You'll get videos on us, and you'll be able to do your homework. And that's just another way of communicating in a convenient way for our investors, because we've got people from all time zones. And yes, we're working we're working 20-hour days, but there's an efficient way of doing it, and we're doing that too.
okay, let me go back a little bit on, I guess, on the site itself. I see that you have, data room. I went
Mhm.
through that, all that. I mean, can you tell me a little bit more about that? That's definitely a
Yeah,
lot different than other ISO that I participate. You guys are basically showing us your hands a little bit there.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. I mean, listen, we know it's a cave in Kazakhstan. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
like when somebody hears that, so we get that. So what we've done is, we when we speak to our investors and past investors, we basically take the questions and we say, look, we know that more people are going to ask us this. Let's just prepare it. So we've had institutional investors that have looked at us, people that are coming from a much more sophisticated place, and they want to invest more money. So we said, look, we want to be able to capture as much of the market as we can. So let's do this. And Malik is all for it. So yeah, we have power bills that we show, so you can see the power consumption, who we are. We're actually going to be doing a day in the life of Malik, CEO of ICE Rock.
no,
So we're going to post that to YouTube so that you can see who the team is. And transparency is a good thing. That's what the blockchain is about too.
okay. Well, we're just down just to a few more questions. Now,
Okay.
I guess on the site, when I'm on there, I always see this pop up on the bottom left that show, somebody, I guess,
Oh, to be
register. I mean,
investor
yeah,
or
okay,
registration.
yeah,
Yes, yes, yes. I think you asked me this question before. So those are registrations. Those are people that are registering to invest. Whether 100% of them do or don't, we don't know.
okay.
But we do talk to them, and I can tell you that we're converting a lot of people. I mean, our registrations are moving up, and we feel very good about the ICO and about what feedback we're getting from the community.
Okay, so I just want to make sure as far as the specs is concerned. So I guess you guys hard cap is about 13.5. That's what the target's going to be, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so if you don't sell out during the ICO, what happened at that point? Do you
So if we don't sell out, we're still going to continue. We're
okay?
just we're just not going to reach that. I think I want to say maybe it was 23 or 20. I'm not so I can't remember between two different numbers, but essentially we're not going to shut down.
Sure.
We're just gonna mine and use our capital as um, as we go through the ICO. So whether we raise 10, 15, 20, whatever it is, that's why we don't have a big ad expense, because most of our money is going into miners
Okay.
and infrastructure.
Well, let me jump back. We talked about the Rock One. Now it's Rock Two. I mean, is this a continuation later on in the future? If you guys want to expand, you're going to be, I guess, doing more
Yeah,
ICOs.
yeah, we're going to look at different formats. ICO is definitely going to be one of them. We're also looking now um, to really work with one of the trends that's happening in the blockchain is you're getting it's almost like a whole new breed of individual business people,
Yeah,
whether they're marketers, whether they're consultants, or so many different or blockchain enthusiasts. This industry is so early on in its development and it's flourishing at such a fast pace. So what we want to do is not just be there as a miner and as a company with a token, and we did our ICO, but we see a big opportunity with working with those types of professionals and providing financial solutions to their clients. So they're able to have a good investment for themselves, and they're able to offer their clients and people they know who want to get involved in the blockchain a good product. And that's kind of how we use the advisor platform to scale our business. So it's really delivering value at every level of the chain, basically. And that's what I'm really excited about because that's what we're doing now. And I see that developing and I see the feedback.
definitely. I mean, like I said, I like the site. The support
Yeah,
on
they did a great
Telegram.
job.
Yeah, on Telegram and everything. Now, I think one of the question someone asked on Telegram, I think Diaz replied back. You guys gonna have some kind of some I don't know, some tracking that you're gonna put down on the website that show how much you guys are mining.
Oh yeah,
Um,
the dashboard.
yeah,
Yeah. So what we're gonna do is once we begin mining, we're gonna have a public dashboard basically. So that's gonna show our hash. That's gonna show everything on a daily basis. So you'll be able to just log into your dashboard and basically see what ICE Rock is doing. Everything is there. It's all on the blockchain. It's all on a smart contract. Um, it's your company. It's our company. This is what the blockchain is about, basically.
gotcha. And last question, time frame. I mean, do you guys really expect, I mean, to last 10 years? I think it's somewhere, I'm not sure where they got that question from. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Look, I mean, there's two things happening. There's the efficiency of the miners, which is going downhill,
yeah,
and then there's profitability, which is going uphill until it gets to a certain point. And that's the whole, reason for the 20% reinvestment fund.
yeah,
Is we specifically put that in there and said, look, that we got to do that because that's what's going to provide longevity. Now, there's going to be a lot of opportunities over the next 2 years, even. So we're going to sit down and look at how to most effectively manage that capital, first of all, and also extend the life of mine. So the way I look at it, let me just tell you, I'm also a personal investor. So the way I
yeah,
can tell you I look at it as a personal investor is, and I know I have a little bit of advantage, but I look at it and say, look, okay, they're invested in the mine. I'm invested in the mine. They're going to want to see this, continue for more than 3 years. So how much more that reinvestment buys us, I would say, yeah, somewhere between 4 to 10 years. If we do a really good job in terms of how efficiently we mine and how we spend our capital, and also obviously how fast Bitcoin price goes up, if it goes up, if it goes down. I see a long-term future, and I see much higher Bitcoin prices. So the way I look at it also is, look, even if I just got 2 3 years out of this,
yeah.
I'm going to make a lot of money on it. So I'm okay with that. And every investor has to make their own decision, do their own due diligence, and just find out where their comfort level is. But that's how I approached it.
Okay. And actually, last question. Actually, I was watching, I guess, your interview. Okay, you talked. Malik mentioned about his relationship with Bitmain.
Yeah,
I think one of the video that you guys mentioned that he visited the group in Hong Kong. I mean, I guess
yeah,
it comes down to, okay, you raised all this capital. I mean, how fast with the delivery, with the relationship, will you be able to go ahead and get all the equipment that you need? So that way we can start profiting from us
absolutely.
being in this. So
So, you're asking, I think that was the best question of all because, everybody wants to measure risk. What's the risk? Well, that's kind of a good example of an operational risk that, um, could happen. For example, Malik has a good relationship with Bitmain, and we actually got a certificate from them
mm,
where we can buy wholesale, and that channel is good. But let me give you an example. Let's say we've raised $10 million,
yeah,
and in going into the last 2 weeks of the ICO, a bunch of people decide, okay, wait, I want to invest a little more, and that takes us from 10 million all of a sudden to 14 million in the last 2 weeks of the ICO,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Now, if that were to happen now, it's no problem. But if that happens in the last 2 weeks of the ICO, and now all of a sudden we have $4 more million of capital that we have to deploy into miners, that means delivery. That means ordering, waiting, delivery, and then placement, testing, and getting them online. Right. So that might take longer than 4 weeks,
sure,
right? But we have 4 weeks until we're going to start mining here. So that would be a situation where, yeah, we would have a challenge and we'd have to say, okay, we're going to have 75% of our mines running, and then the other 25% are going to get online a month later. And that means that you're not going to have 100% of your mining power behind you on the first payment.
yeah,
So that's a type of risk that I could see happening. But again, Malik and the guys know what they're doing, and it's a business, and you have those normal kind of risks and everyday up and down, so to speak, of a business.
exactly. Okay, that's perfect. That's basically all the questions I have. Any final thoughts?
Look, I mean, I would just say learn about us and reach out to us, because people need to understand what mining is and get comfortable with it. And they can only do that once they start asking questions and reaching out. And we're here, and the ICO is going on. And yes, the bonuses will go down, but I still think that if you learn about us and talk to us and understand the investment, um, you'll probably invest because it's just mining is in demand, the returns are good, and I think we're in the right sector.
And my last question: any price prediction with Bitcoin by the end of this year?
Yeah, I end of 2018, I would say 50,000,
I,
not without blinking.
I like that number. Okay. Amir,
Yeah,
thank you so much for joining us. Like I
no
said, I
problem.
want to thank again Donny Boy 8 for setting this interview up for us. So I'll
Yeah,
go, looking forward to you guys' success and, a successful ICO. So thank you so
very good.
much for your
Yeah,
time.
thank you, thank you, thank you, CryptoPaul. All right, guys.